topic that I would like to discuss, and that is missing children. I was reading a novel last week, and I came across an article that was written in this book, and this book mentioned a fact that kind of surprised me. I remember, well, first off, I'll tell you what I read in the book. It said in the year 2008 in the state of Texas, there were 57,000 children reported missing, and it said in 2008, the Highway Patrol in Texas, the Texas Rangers or whoever does the highway checks, in nearly 3 million attempts at stopping cars, for, speeding or, not using a turn signal or whatever it was, and nearly 3 million automobile stops, not one of these 57,000 kids were discovered. So those 57,000 kids disappeared in 2008, never to be seen again. And that made me want to look up a little bit of more about the missing children. And I remember when I used to watch Magnum P.I. with Tom Selleck and, way back, in the original series, the guy who was the bartender was studied to try to find out what happened to missing children, and he said that on the order of 2 million American kids went missing every year back in the 90s. And I thought, well, boy, there was like 3 million that reported, but 1 million were found, but on the order of 2 million kids completely disappeared. So anyway, this morning I just thought I'd go online and do a check, and here's a website. It's called the Global Missing Children Network. It's globalmissingkids.org awareness/missing children statistics. And it says the lack of common definition of missing child and a common response to the issue results in few reliable statistics on the scope of the problem around the world. But it says even with this challenge, we know that in Australia, an estimated 20,000 children are reported missing every year, according to the Australian Federal Police National Coordination Center. In Canada, an estimated 45,288 children are reported missing each year. In Germany, which isn't a whole lot bigger than one of our states, estimated 100,000 children are reported missing each year. In India, an estimated 96,000 children go missing each year. In Jamaica, that tiny little island of Jamaica, they have about 2,000 children go missing every year, and 1,984 children were reported missing in 2015. In Russia, 45,000 children were reported missing in 2015. In Spain, 20,000 children. The United Kingdom, home of the shape-shifting reptilian government, an estimated 112,853 children reported missing every year in the UK. And in this particular article, it says in the United States, an estimated 460,000 children are reported missing every year, according to the FBI. All right. So this is just one interesting report. Now, I found another interesting website, which is kind of interesting. It's called AscensionGlossary.com. That's the website that I got this on, and it's quite interesting, actually. It says, human trafficking is the sale or barter for humans into slavery by other humans and non-humans. Get that? Non-humans? It says, federal laws define human trafficking as sex trafficking in which a commercial sex act is induced by force, fraud, or coercion to a person that has not attained 18 years old, or the recruitment, harboring, transportation, provision, or obtaining of a person for labor or services through the use of force, fraud, or coercion for the purpose of subjection to involuntary servitude, peonage, debt bondage, or slavery. Says this is a massive epidemic on planet Earth, and it also exists off planet Earth and is referred to as the galactic human slavery. Generally, a person is culled for certain purposes and then abducted, captured from their families, or sold or bartered for many purposes, including manual slave labor, sex trade, engineering, and manufacturing. The person is mind-controlled under a system of threats, intimidation, and torture to remain compliant and submissive to the acts they are forced to perform for their handlers, who may be human or non-human entities. Many of these human trafficking crime gangs work from lists of desired people to be obtained that have specific skills or physical descriptors. Children are considered valuable to both human and non-human pedophiles who place an order for the type of child they want to use as a sex slave. Those that recruit or find these slavery orders for profit may be elderly looking or professional people that appear normal and non-threatening. It says human trafficking, organized crime operate in every country. Often children or women are abducted right off the street. In poverty-stricken third world countries, children are grabbed from inattentive parents and offered a few $100s to take the child. And it says this level of human trafficking brings in many hundreds of thousands of people per year into the slave trade, both on and off the planet. It says currently the world slavery system is used to parasitize soul energy, but also to superimpose karmic exchanges on the masses. And it is an important reason the NAA fight so hard to retain their control and access over Earth and the inhabitants. The humans controlled by the NAA have Stockholm Syndrome and have been dehumanized to such levels of fragmentation they act like a feral animal cornered in a cage, defending their enslavement, not how they can exist in any way else but to be in the mind control matrix, meshed in a codependent parasitism with these dark forces. Right, so the question is, who traffics these children? It says many individuals can be involved in trafficking of a child, including recruiters, intermediaries, document providers, transporters, corrupt officials, service providers, and employers. Trafficking operations can function as a corporation, small groups of well-organized criminals, or even amateurs who provide a single service. These organizations service both on-planet and some more covert organizations are involved with bartering with extraterrestrials who want human children as their plaything. It says for off-planet trade and bartering, it says there is no currency or financial system that is used between spacefaring civilizations, so everything is based on bartering. Some ETs are interested in some of Earth's art, historical pieces, luxury items, animal and plant life, while many are interested in trading their technology and biological specimens they have obtained elsewhere for human beings. These humans are used for many purposes, including manual slave labor, sex trade, engineering, manufacturing, and we are well known for the ability some of us have with certain technical skill sets. There are some of the ETs that use humans as food resources in various ways. The secret government and their syndicates discovered that a large amount of humans were being taken off the planet by various ETs anyway, so they decided to find a way to profit from it and have control over which people were being taken. In prior arrangements, they were made promises of receiving technologies and biological specimens for allowing groups to abduct humans, but the ETs rarely delivered on their promises. Once they had developed the advanced infrastructure in our solar system, along with advanced technologies that some of the thousands of ET groups traveling through our system are now interested in obtaining, and now have had the ability to deter most unwelcome guests from entering Earth's airspace, the Cabal ICC then decided to use human trafficking as one of their resources in interstellar bartering. Now, it's kind of interesting. It says, Prison Planet, the Guardian host, has revealed the alien machinery, the NETs that are used for conscious wiping all planetary inhabitants, bringing attention to the false light used in false ascension matrix, as well as repeated cycling of souls that are routed into consciousness traps that made Earth a prison planet. During the ascension cycle, the Crystal Star Guardians are essentially on a rescue mission to help the planet ascend and liberate souls on the Earth from mind control and these artificial intelligence false timeline propagation. All right, so, and here's one that's kind of a little bit about the Orions. There are currently spiritually disconnected humans existing on the Earth that will be assimilated into synthetic life forms that appear as extraterrestrial biological entities, EBEs, but were actually human souls in human bodies in past lifetimes. Many of these EBEs were once humans that were involved in the Orion Wars, which Claudia knows about, and were captured in Orion and used in worker colonies. Some from the Earth were enslaved on the astral plane by other races of creatures such as the mantids, gray aliens, and reptilians that took them as workers to other planetary systems. Some are even used as minions for carrying out human abductions in my lab's soul transference projects. Many of them had their consciousness erased and they do not remember that they were once human. So anyway, that's kind of an interesting overview of what's happening to a lot of the kids. I have one other small report here, if I can find it. This says, where are these millions of missing children and adults going? Here's a little synopsis. It says, every 40 seconds, a child goes missing in the United States. When a child goes missing, the first 3 hours are the most crucial in finding the child safely. Approximately 76.2% of abducted children in the United States who are murdered are dead within 3 hours of abduction. Every year, more than 800,000 children are missing in the United States. In 1980, roughly 150,000 people reported missing per year. The number is now 900,000. Over 2,300 Americans are reported missing every day. In most jurisdictions, missing person cases receive low priority. Authorities are already swamped with homicides, robberies, rapes, assaults, traffic issues, and crime prevention. There are as many as 100,000 active missing persons cases in the U.S. at any time. Out of 692,944 people reported missing in 2010, 531,000 of them were under the age of 18. Now, on a bigger scale, it says it is estimated that at least 8 million children worldwide go missing each year. It is estimated that nearly 800,000 children will be reported each year in the U.S., 40,000 children go missing each year in Brazil, and so on. I read a little bit about that earlier. And then it says, poor children in many countries, missing children are not even tracked. In most of the developing world, including Africa, Asia, and Latin America, no one is counting missing children. Additionally, there are no specific laws on missing children, no established protocol, and no central missing child registries. Well, there's a bunch more to this report. But anyway, I just thought that might be a interesting review, and I think that the people need to really wake up to the fact. You know, most people might think that kids are abducted for sexual trafficking and that sort of thing. But Claudia, I'd like you to let people know your angle on missing children and the reptilians. Could you share that with us, please?
Yes, thank you. Little side note about missing children and persons. One of the things that the Orion's creatures can do or have the ability to do is manipulate time. And why this is important is that, say, a person goes to bed at night, goes to sleep, and is abducted or taken and removed from their bed and taken somewhere to do something, either, and some of them are sex, but a lot of times, are for slave purposes to work on machinery or equipment or to dig in the mines or whatever. And you say, well, how can that happen? The next morning, these people wake up and nothing has changed. They might notice that their clothes are on backwards and their bed sheets are all on the floor instead of on top of them, which would seem normal. If you had a dream during the night and you throw off your bed sheet, then that would explain that. But the Orions, in particular, can stop or manipulate time. They can take you at, say, 12:31 a.m., take you to a laboratory or a mine or a facility where they're constructing equipment and keep you there for hours, weeks, months, years. Yes, a limited amount of time. Then when they're through with you, they can return you to the exact second you were removed. They stop time and put you back in the bed and in the same condition physically that you were when you were taken. This gives the illusion to the people who are taken that there's nothing wrong, there's nothing unusual. Oh, I had a dream or whatever. They're also returned at the exact stage of age that they were when they were removed. All of this is done with equipment that the Orions possess. They have technology and knowledge way beyond our little physical minds can even comprehend in our wildest dreams. They have so much technology, but they have one thing missing. They don't have enough workers or slaves. So they go around the, I'm going to say the universe and look for creatures to use in their mines, laboratories, whatever, and abduct them without any problems doing that. They have no, as you would say, care about these creatures. We're just cattle to them. A cow is to us. Sometimes people are consumed. The Orions do eat meat products, and they find a lot of humans quite tasty. So, yes, they're never seen again by their families, the ones that are taken or abducted. But some of them are consumed, some of them are workers. These all go hand in hand for their particular agenda. The agenda over the last 20,000 years was a war with the Sirius constellation inhabitants. They warred with each other because the Queen of Orion needed workers, and they wanted the entire Syrian population. So they had great technology, but the one thing the Syrians had that the Orions did not have was the mental capability to manipulate nature, and that is what led to a 20,000-year war. Orions were using technology. The Syrians, defending themselves from this invasion, were using their natural forces. All that happens on our planet Earth that seem a little out of place should be suspect. Everything from the top down, from the government, the religious circles, the scientific circles, all of these operate in these areas who do things that are out of the ordinary or what would not be usual fare should be noticed, become aware of what's going on around you. Most of us are so busy trying to do our 9-to-5 job or go to school and pass the test or whatever that we don't take time to look. Some people now are waking up and looking around to see what's going on. It's an ongoing project. So this has been going on since humans first appeared on the planet Earth. And you say, well, oh, yeah, right, way back then. How has this happened? Because we are easily deceived. the ability of Orions to give us mental commands not to remember anything or to do a certain act is intensely enforced, and humans have no defense against it.
I want to remind everybody to sing "New You" in 15 to 20 minutes in the morning, 15 to 20 minutes at night before you go to bed, and ask the real guides to show you what is real. And make sure you sing it instead of chanting it. So, in the few remaining seconds, I'd like all our guests to finish up by singing "New You," and then we'll call it a show. So I will start. New You. Okay, thank you, everybody.